Welcome to the Author's Edge radio show with Guy L. Freer and Bob Price. Now, their show airs nationwide on the My Genre Radio Network, Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. Each week on their show, they help authors create books that transform our lives and imaginations. Through radio excellence, they create a unique community resource, one that promotes, connects, and fosters a sense of well-being. Gael and Bob maintain a focus on sharing books, publishing, marketing, and writing solutions. They serve listeners by providing outlets for their creative skills and energies, and they help them flourish in the competitive marketplace. Their weekly show provides intros, writing spotlights, helps you in promoting your book, your writing, your publishing, your marketing tidbits, and much more. Okay, audience, here's Gael and Bob.
And welcome back, everyone. This is Author's Edge, and today it's just going to be Gael. Bob is not with us. He is home nursing a sciatic nerve. Those sciatic nerves get to you after a while. But today we have with us Dr. Meng Lee. Welcome, Meng-Yu Lee.
Right.
Meng-Yu Lee,
Yeah.
Dr. Meng-Yu Lee. And she is visiting us, a professor at Ocean University of China. She has been a visiting scholar at Cambridge, Louisville, and Southeast Missouri State. She has attended many international conferences in the U.S., UK, Germany, Japan, and Singapore as a section chair and a discussant. She reviews papers for Intercultural Communication Studies and the Faulkner Journal. Her academic interests are Faulkner Studies, intercultural communication, and comparative literature. She has authored and co-authored many books. Notable works include William Faulkner and the Chinese Writers in the New Period in 2024, this year, Cross-Cultural Communication in Chinese and Western Literary Dialogue in 2017, and Chinese Communicating Interculturally in 2020 and 2012. Dr. Lee has published over 60 academic papers and led many research projects. One significant project was on Faulkner's influence on Chinese writers, which is why she's here today. She has won many awards, including the second prize for the 7th Scientific Research Outstanding Achievement Award by the Chinese Ministry of Education for General Guide on Modern Chinese Literature in 2015. In her new book, which we're going to be talking about today, William Faulkner and Chinese Contemporary Literature, 1978 to 2022, will be published in 2026. And in her spare time, like she has some, she writes poetry and has a collection called The Cloud Shadow of Time. Welcome to Author's Edge, Dr. Meng-Yu Lee. What brought you to Southeast Missouri University, of all places?
Thank you. I'm really honored. It is my great honor and pleasure to be invited in your show.
You're so welcome.
Yeah, I think it's quite a unique experience for me. Yeah. So
It's also a unique experience for me, too.
thank you. And I have a keen interest in William Faulkner. So ever since I was doing my doctoral study, so I just showed great interest toward this writer. And later on, I wrote a doctoral dissertation on the comparative study of William Faulkner, and another well-known Chinese modern writer, Shen Tongwen. So from multi perspective, vision. And so based on this, I have published my first book, The Comparative Study of Faulkner and Shen Tongwen from Multicultural Dimensions. And so Faulkner is my favorite writer.
Why is William Faulkner your favorite writer?
I think, yes, ever since at the end of 1970s, particularly 1980s, there appeared a kind of Faulkner fever in China, and Faulkner is still hot in China today. And
Why is that? I'm just curious. Of all the writers, why William Faulkner?
Oh yeah, and so that period, early 1980s, is time for China's opening and reforming policy. So we open our gate to the outside world ever since 1980s. So a large number of foreign literary works has been translated into Chinese.
Okay.
Among them, William Faulkner's works. So it is one that has attracted the attention of the writers at that times. And there was a famous translator. His name is Li Wenjun. Okay, so he was also a scholar. He helped translate Faulkner's novel and also letters and also literary books, critics' books to China. So it has helped a lot with the translation of Faulkner's novels. For instance, in 1984, okay, so he translated, he finished his translation of Faulkner's masterpiece, Sound and Fury. Okay, so
Sound and Fury.
Yes, Sound and Fury was published in.
And that explains that.
Yeah, in 1984. So at that time, the famous Chinese writer Mo Yan, who has won the Nobel Prize in 2012. At that time, when he read this book late in the winter in 1984, and he feels very excited, and he said, "Oh, Faulkner has created a word of himself by he regarded his hometown as a stamp." Okay,
Right.
That is very famous metaphor, and inspired by this, and Mo Yan also tried to.
Is this the Shen? Is that the Shen? Is that the one that you make? You chose this gentleman here.
Okay.
Shen, is that
No, this is
a different one?
different one.
Okay.
Okay. I'm just talking about some that is contemporary writer.
Okay.
So this Shen Tongwen is a modern Chinese writer. Yeah, and he has not received any influence from Faulkner, but actually their works. Novels share many similarities.
Right, because you had done a comparison of those two.
Yeah. That is my doctorate dissertation.
Right.
Yeah. Just now I'm talking. This is my new research area.
Okay. Let's go back to what you were saying, though. About why you were so interested in Faulkner.
Yeah. So you can say at that period, Faulkner's novel has attracted the attention of Chinese audience, Chinese writers, and I at that time, I'm pursuing my doctorate study, and the Faulkner, it was very hard writer.
Yes.
So after I read his masterpiece, I show my.
You were kind of hooked.
Yeah.
You were hooked on him.
Yeah.
When was the first time you came to the United States? Tell us a little bit about your trips to the United States.
Okay, that is year 2008. Yeah.
So this is not your first time.
Actually, this is the third time for me to go to the South Missouri State University, the Center for Faulkner Studies. And then for the first time, Actually, I went to another university, University of Louis, Louisville, Louisville in Kentucky.
Louisville.
Yeah.
Mhm.
As my another research field is intercultural communication, so they have a center there. So I went there, do some research in that field. But during the winter vacation, I pay a short visit to South Missouri State University, and so the famous Pocono expert, Dr. Robert Hamlin.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dr. Robert Hamlin.
Yeah.
You remember him?
Yeah. So he's the director of the Center for Pocono Studies. And so at that time when I came, I did a interview on him.
Mhm.
So the interview, the topic is about Faulkner study in U.S. Okay, so we just do the interview and make the recording, and later on this interview has been published in one Chinese very important journal
Mhm.
that is Foreign Literature Studies, and it helps Chinese scholars a lot. I found this article has been quoted frequently by Chinese scholars when they writing papers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, because it's part of history now.
Yeah.
Because Dr. Hamlin has retired.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
Yeah.
a piece
yeah.
of history.
But not history. And only on Monday we met and in Faulkner Center rare book room. And
Oh.
I'd like to say something about it. I think
Please.
it is very important. And previously, I'd like to talk about my second visit, okay, to Southeast Missouri State University. That is 2015.
Uh-huh.
At that time, I'm doing a Chinese National Fund research program. So the
Mhm.
topic is Faulkner and Chinese contemporary writers.
Yes.
Yeah. So I just stay here for 2 weeks, try to look up some materials.
Mhm.
And at that time, I do another interview on Dr. Rieger. Dr. Rieger, the second director of Center
Okay.
for Faulkner Study. Now he has been to New Mexico City, to work in the U.S. Embassy.
Uh-huh.
As a diplomat.
As a diplomat, yes.
Yeah. So it's a pity I cannot.
Right,
say-
because he's no longer there. He's yeah.
Yeah.
Remember I told you he was he's now the diplomat. He's
Yeah.
for
Uh.
in New Mexico in Mexico. He's the ambassador.
Yeah. Ambassador. Yeah.
He's the ambassador
Yeah.
now.
I have also organized a kind of series of lecture online in our university. I
Mhm.
have invited Dr. Rieger to give a keynote speech. Okay, so he had made a comparative study of William Faulkner, Mo Yan, and a
Mhm.
Japanese writer. So it is a very interesting topic. And
It
yeah.
seems to be something that's very fascinating
yeah,
for several of the writers, for the contemporary writers
Yeah.
in China at this moment.
yeah. So for the third time here this year, I came. Okay, I have been supported by a Chinese government fund, and come here as a senior visiting scholar. The program is 6 months. Okay, so I feel very enjoy.
So you've been here for 6 months now.
Yeah.
Or by the
4
by
months.
August, 4 months. By August, it'll be 6
Yeah,
months.
only 2 months left.
Only
Okay,
2 months left.
time passed quite quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Dr. Hamlin, although he has been retired, now there is no director at the center, and he's very nice and so kind, and so he's willing to be my supervisor. So every week, every Wednesday afternoon at 2 p.m., we went to the Center for Faulkner Study,
Mhm.
our visiting scholar office, we would have a meeting, and then we talk mainly about Faulkner's poems, because this is the research area I'm doing now.
Yes.
Yeah,
And you
yeah.
had written that one poem in response to one of Faulkner's poems.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Which we'll take a look at a little bit later in the interview, because I would
Okay.
like to talk a little bit more about your book.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm,
You have written several books.
mm.
And what was the first book that you published?
Just now, as I have mentioned, that is the comparative study of William Faulkner and Shen Tongwen from multicultural perspective dimension.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Shen Tongwen is a famous modern Chinese writer who, yes, his position is as important as Lu Xun, the famous Chinese modern writer.
Okay.
And his novel focused more on the local color, so focused on his hometown, Western Hunan province, that is called Xiangxi novel, very famous. And there is American scholar. His name is Jeffrey C. Kinkley, and he's American sinology and professor of history at St. John's University in New York.
Uh-huh.
So his doctor dissertation is on Shen Tongwen.
Okay.
Later on, he published the book, The Odyssey of Shen Tongwen. Odyssey of Shen Tongwen. Okay.
Okay.
And
the
Mm.
who is it that
this
oh.
one,
Jeffrey C. Kinkley. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And his book now has been translated into Chinese.
Okay.
It is a good, important reference book for us to study this Chinese writer, Shen Tongwen.
Okay.
Yeah. And he found some similarity between Faulkner and Shen Tongwen. And he called Shen Tongwen China's Faulkner. Okay.
Okay. And so what are the comparisons? What is it? What are they? How do they mesh?
Yeah.
The connection.
Yeah. That is my doctor's dissertation. The main idea, the main view is these two writers share many similarities in the novel. For instance, the strong local flavor in their work,
Uh-huh.
and also they also have a nostalgia for the past.
Nostalgia for the past.
Yeah. And also the admiration for the pure moral force. And
Admiration for the pure moral forest.
yeah, and also eternal spirit force. And
Eternal spiritual.
yeah. And also the novel makes some exploration of the tragic face of their characters. Yeah.
Tragic fate.
Yeah, and also these two writers, they have depict the transition period. Okay, at that time, the industry, the modernism invaded the rural countryside.
Right, the
And
rural countryside.
Yeah, the modern industry has invaded
The modern
the
industry.
tradition.
Yes.
Yeah.
The modern industry has invaded the rural traditions.
Okay. Yeah. So these two writers just focus on the theme of the modern industrial civilization, struggling and distorting human nature. So they have many similarities.
Yeah, I can see that. All right. So just real recently, I finished reading, in light of the fact that I was having an interview with the other gentleman that came from Japan.
Oh yeah, Koichi.
Yeah, Huchi.
Right.
Yeah.
I had an interview with him, and we talked about Faulkner as well, of course, as you know.
Yeah.
And I just finished reading the book Light in August.
Oh, Light in August.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the themes that you're referring to are the same themes that are in Light in August.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
the tragic figures,
the tragic,
Yeah.
absolutely. The
Yeah.
tragic figures.
Yeah.
And okay, I have a question. I have to know this. I meant to ask him, but I'm going to ask you.
Moving closer.
Okay.
Okay.
I have to ask you.
Okay.
In Light in August, Christmas,
Okay.
does he kill the old lady?
I don't know. Was it brown or was it cream?
Was Brown the one that
I
kills
don't
the
know
old
either.
lady, or does Christmas kill the old lady?
I think he killed the old lady.
You think Christmas killed him?
Yeah.
Was it left?
Darn! I wanted Christmas not to kill her.
Kinda left unclear.
Yeah.
It's left unclear.
Yeah.
But he's a tragic figure.
Tragic
He is,
figure.
he is a tragic figure.
Yeah.
He didn't have a chance.
Yeah.
He was born without a chance.
Yes. He has suffered too much. Yeah.
He had.
Yeah.
I mean, he was born without a chance.
Well, the whole conflict of religion
Mm.
and race and all those conflicts
Yeah.
turned
Yeah.
he
Turned him
didn't
in-
stand a chance.
No, he didn't
Yeah.
stand a chance.
Yes.
You mix men, religion.
Mm.
What was the three things I said to you?
Race,
men,
religion.
Yeah, men, religion, and race together, and
Mm.
you're doomed.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
not really, but-
Not really.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I'm not
He's
serious.
a very tragic figure.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
is a tragic
Yeah,
figure.
yeah,
He
yeah.
really is, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate because Faulkner pulls that out.
Yeah.
But, one of the Faulkner's wonderful strengths is his descriptions of the surroundings. His descriptions are wonderful.
Yeah.
His descriptions are,
Yeah.
He
Of the
And
and so I'm assuming that
Mm.
Sen also does the same type of description.
Yeah.
rules, settings,
Yeah. Quite a poetic way.
In a poetic way.
Yeah, his language is quite beautiful. So he's also a very hard writer in China.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
very
a hard. Yeah,
Yeah.
William Faulkner is a hard writer in English.
Yeah.
He is a hard writer in English.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's very wordy. After a while, you just would like him to get to the point. And
Yeah.
that's from I love William Faulkner. He does a wonderful job. But after a while, you just want him to say what he has to say.
Yeah. And I think his novel is rich in content,
Mhm.
and also
Yes.
he make some experiment in narration.
Yes.
Yeah. By the way, I'd like to say why a Chinese writer likes him so much. So just now I mentioned Mo Yan as the Nobel Prize winner, and he learned a lot from Faulkner, and so that another reason is that
We are going to go to a commercial break. But before we
okay.
do that,
okay.
you are listening to Author's Edge with Gael Freer and Bob Price, coming to you weekly on Saturdays at 10 a.m. on KWRH 92.9 and KXOK 102.9 FM, and Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. nationwide on the My Genre Radio Network. You can also view our latest videos of past shows at authors-edge.com online and download valuable information on marketing and publishing. And are you an author, publisher, or editor looking to amplify your reach? Advertise on Author's Edge and connect with passionate readers eager to discover their next favorite book. Our show attracts a dedicated audience of book lovers and industry insiders and avid readers. With our engaging interviews, in-depth reviews, and literary discussions, your book will get the spotlight it deserves. So contact us now for more information at 573-714-1352 and join the Edge, where great authors and enthusiastic readers meet. And we will be back with Dr. Mengyu Li and her book, Chinese Communicating Interculturally with Author's Edge.
In 1857, the Dred Scott decision was a major legal event and catalyst that contributed to the Civil War. The decision declared that Dred Scott could not be free because he was not a citizen. The 14th Amendment, also called the Dred Scott Amendment, granted citizenship to all born or naturalized here in our country and was intended to overturn the U.S. Supreme Court decision on July 9, 1868. The Dred Scott Heritage Foundation is requesting a commemorative stamp to be issued from the U.S. Postal Service to recognize and remember the heritage of this amendment by issuing a stamp with the likeness of the man Dred Scott. But we need your support and the support of thousands of people who would like to see this happen. To achieve this goal, we ask you to download, sign, and share the one-page petition with others. To find the petition, please go to dredscottlives.org and click on the Dred Scott Petition Drive on the right side of the page.
El Potro Restaurant and Market, located at 6920 Manchester Avenue, 1 block east of McCausland, offers the finest variety of Mexican and Central American groceries and goods. El Potro Restaurant serves authentic Mexican and Central American cuisine, including daily specials, not to mention the best horchata and tastiest margaritas in St. Louis. Open 7 days a week. El Potro, 6920 Manchester Avenue, 1 block east of McCausland.
The United States has a strong tradition of welcoming newcomers and refugees. The Welcome Corps is a new service opportunity for Americans inspired to welcome those seeking freedom and safety and in turn help strengthen their own communities. Welcome Corps is a public-private partnership that is inspired by what Americans represent to so many around the world, a beacon of hope and refuge. All it takes is a helping hand. Are you ready to learn more? Contact the International Institute of St. Louis at info@iistl.org or call 314-773-9090. That's info@iistl.org or call 314-773-9090.
We are. Where are we? Where are we? Somebody tell me where I am, please. Okay, we are at Author's Edge, and we are talking to Dr. Mingyu Li about her book, Chinese Communicating Interculturally. And she has a quote that she's given me. The reason why we say that intercultural communication is a thrilling experience lies in the fact that different people, organizations, and countries can benefit greatly by sharing common interests and appreciating differences in the meantime. However, due to various intercultural barriers, such as misunderstanding, problems in verbal and nonverbal language, stereotyping, prejudice, racism, and ethnocentrism, intercultural communication turns out to be a challenging venture that provides the reasons why we want you to read the book and learn intensively about intercultural communication. The quote is from your book, Chinese Communicating Interculturally. And can you tell me what you mean by that?
Okay, so I'd like to, first of all, I'd like to tell something about why I so interested in this field. That
Okay.
is a long story, maybe.
Oh, go ahead, please.
Yeah.
We have time.
Yeah, okay. So when I first came to Ocean University of China, as a young teacher, I have been given a teaching task, teaching this course, communicating interculturally, this course in English. Okay. At that time, we have no textbook, and no one has ever taught such kind of a course. This field is also new to me, 2004. So because my major in university is English, okay. So I think I'll say, okay, I will take this task and I start teaching this course while I also teach myself in the same time.
Okay.
Yeah, we use a textbook actually from US that is communicating between culture. So that is a good textbook written by Samawa, and we have used it for many times. But anyway, it is textbook for maybe American students. And so later on, I get to know a very famous American professor. His name is Michael Prosser, and he was one of the early founder in this field.
Okay.
So I'm very lucky to get to know him at a conference held in Harbin it is an international conference,
Mhm.
and and we get to know one another. And then he was also invited to give one semester's lecture at my university.
Mhm.
So he was from University of Virginia, and after his retirement, he went to China and had taught in China for more than 10 years.
Wow.
He really enjoyed his teaching there.
Mhm.
And so we co-author a book. This is a book we
The book right
co-author,
there. Mhm.
Chinese Communicating Interculturally. And I think this book is maybe more suitable for Chinese student. But anyway, this book provides systematic knowledge in this field. And Professor Michael has also invited many guest writers who
Mhm.
has different cultural background, come from different part of the world, to write one special chapter that is creating our culture story. It is a very interesting chapter.
Creating our cultural story.
Yeah.
Okay.
He has invited different writers and who started in different country to write the culture story for us. And then for another chapter, it focused on world youth. Okay, so he also invited his young students from different culture to write this chapter. So for instance,
So, what do you mean by their cultural story? Explain that.
okay, so here I'd like to yes take the book. Yeah, cultural story. For instance, in chapter 3, Professor Hambley also invited me to write my cultural story. And so in my cultural story, that is Li Mengyu's cultural story, and I have just share my cultural story abroad.
Okay, so
yeah,
your cultural story is about who you are.
yeah, who am I? And particularly, I focus a lot on my interculture story,
You
uh,
spend a lot of time talking about your education.
education, and then for the later part, I just share my experience in U.S. Just now
Uh-huh.
I mentioned first time
Coming to the U.S.
Yes, some culture shock I encountered here.
Yeah, well, yes, and that's the other thing I wanted to ask you about.
Yeah.
Tell us about your culture shock.
Yeah. Okay.
I had culture shock going from Key West to Poplar Bluff.
Okay. So, for instance, when I first arrived, in 2008, and so just now I mentioned at the University of Louisville,
Mm-hmm.
and one of my friend told me never go outside at night and it's dangerous, you will kill yourself. Oh, I think it's so dangerous. In China we often go to street at night, even fly at night. I think it's quite safe, but I feel a little bit nervous at that time. I just stay at her house, and so the next day I moved to the house I rent.
Mm-hmm.
And so at night, maybe it is about 9 p.m., someone knocked at my door. I'm so nervous, and so I'm thinking of my friends' warning.
Mm-hmm.
And so several times my hands sick, and I just make a phone call to my supervisor, but he did not answer. And later on, fortunately, my landlord has answered my phone call. He just took me there to another apartment.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm thinking of this issue. Maybe that is some kind of problem. Maybe in US, particularly in downtown area.
Uh-huh.
Yes, it not quite
In city areas.
You see,
In certain areas. Yeah. Yeah.
in certain areas.
Yeah, in certain areas.
Okay.
Because where I live,
Uh,
it's I can go outside at night and there's it's very safe.
Yeah, and then later on, when I live in another place, yeah, it is quite safe. My landlord even do not lock his door.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but anyway, maybe this is a kind of a culture shock to me.
Sorry.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Good example.
Well, what about food?
Food.
Yeah, so to me,
Okay.
Chinese food in
Yeah.
the United States
Yeah,
has got to be different than Chinese food in China.
Yeah. Now, actually, Western food is very popular in China,
Uh-huh.
and we can also, taste a lot of, Western food in China.
Mhm.
So to me, this is not a problem. I really enjoy, American food
Uh-huh.
and also French food, British food. Yes, I enjoy it very much. But Chinese food, of course, is our favorite food.
Well, yes.
Yeah. I'd like to tell you something interesting. Now I live at landlord house.
Mhm.
Okay, and his name is Tom.
Tom Newmeyer.
Newmeyer. He's
Yes.
a
Yes, he's a friend of ours.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
he's
yes,
a photographer. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
He's very kind, and so he has his Airbnb. So
Yes.
for my short stay,
Mhm.
I found his house very lovely with beautiful garden.
Mhm.
And for these days, I stay here for 1 week, and I just cook some Chinese food, and make dumpling
Mhm.
and rice.
Mhm.
And Tom likes it very much. Okay. And
Well, doesn't surprise me. Tom is very he likes food.
yeah,
He's-
so
he's-
the other night when I made dumpling, I also invite Kuchi couple from Japan.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and also Tom and also American professor at SIMO.
Uh-huh.
And we have I just make some dumpling
Uh-huh.
and cook some other food, and we have a good time together.
Oh, it sounds like
Well, that
fun,
sounds like a
yeah.
lovely evening.
Yeah,
Absolutely
yeah.
lovely.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry that we didn't get invited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened to our invitation?
Next time you are when you go to Kim, I plan to come again. Okay, so when you visit Cape, you are welcome to
Okay.
taste the
Yeah.
dumpling I made.
Well, we expect that.
Okay, yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Okay. So,
Mm.
what inspired you? Well, you already told us what inspired you.
Yeah,
Can you
yeah.
describe your collaborative writing process? You know, you
Uh,
worked with
Yeah, yeah,
Michael Prosser.
yeah.
All right. So,
Yeah.
what was that process like working with him?
Okay, and yes, I really prefer this kind of international cooperation. And so just now I mentioned at that time, he was invited to give a series of a lecture
Mm-hmm.
at our university. And then one semester he has time. And so we just make a writing outline.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have written several chapters, and he has also written several chapters. And so he has also invited some guest writers.
Mhm.
So actually, this book is kind of international joint. Yes, not only.
International anthology.
Yeah, yeah,
collection.
yeah. You are right. Yeah.
An international anthology.
Yeah, and what makes this book quite unique, at each chapter, there is a dialogue. And this dialogue is kind of the situation is placed in an imaginary classroom, and so one
That's
teacher.
very good.
Yeah, the teacher. Yes, all the dialogues has been written by Professor Michael Prosser,
Mhm.
and so he has just created one figure, Miss Zhang, okay, and also some Chinese student, and they are having courses of this communicating interculturally. Actually, all the dialogue later on, Professor Prosser told me, are actually real dialogue happening in his conversation with Chinese student while he stay in China. Yeah, quite interesting. Yeah.
How do misunderstandings
Mm.
impact the intercultural? What were you going to say?
I don't know.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something.
Okay.
How do misunderstandings impact intercultural communication? I mean, the misunderstandings happen. So how does that happen?
You mean misunderstanding?
Yeah, like misunderstanding what people say.
Yeah.
How does that impact
Yeah.
the communication?
Yeah. Actually, this is our books mainly focus on. So we have provide with some knowledge about this kind of intercultural conflicts, misunderstanding,
Mm-hmm.
and also some strategies to deal with this issue. And so, we have, yes, a large variety of contents related to this.
Can you give me an example of some kind of a situation that would be presented in the book that
Okay, so here I'd like to give you one example about one international
Mhm.
marriage. Okay,
Yes.
yeah. So this is one case about a Chinese student. Actually, this student is Michael Persis, a master student.
Mhm.
So after her graduation, so he went to UK and married a British young man.
Mhm.
And these two couple has encountered many cultural differences.
I would think so.
Yeah, for instance, the Chinese girl and she prefers sometimes to spend some time with her friends, some Chinese friends,
Uh-huh.
and maybe her husband is yes. I think he spent too much time with her girlfriends. Okay, and also another quite interesting accident is one time when this girl was ill, and his husband just do not show concern for her. So this girl feel very disappointed, and this young man, British young man, think yes, she should be self-reliance. Okay,
Uh-huh.
maybe this kind of culture difference.
The cultural differences between the relationships.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But finally, the girl says by means of communication, they know the difference, and their relationship has improved a lot. Yeah,
But I would think that would be a big deal, being married.
yeah,
The understanding and the acceptance of each
Of-
other.
yeah.
yeah.
I guess, just even thinking about my mom and dad, my
Oh.
mother is French,
Oh,
my father is American.
Yeah.
I
You
mean,
may have
that-
a lot of cultural story.
Yeah,
You can share with us.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That was two very different cultures.
Yeah.
And not as different, I think, as a Chinese and a British, because I think that might be a bigger difference
Yeah.
than because it's
Yeah.
but it was still different.
Yeah. So I think this book is very useful for gardeners to deal with this kind of issue in intercultural misunderstanding. Okay. Yeah.
What makes intercultural communication a thrilling experience? That's one of the things you mentioned in your quote. It's a thrilling experience. What makes it thrilling?
Yeah, take my situation as an example, and I have a lot of opportunities to participate in international conference, and so I have once been a visiting scholar at the University of Cambridge for 1 year.
That
Yeah.
must have been fun.
Yeah. And during the summer vacation, I just make a travel to some European country. And so here and there, here in US, I have traveled here for several times. I really enjoy this kind of intercultural journey and communication, and to make friends from different cultures. I think it is a thrilling experience to me. Yeah.
What are common barriers to the intercultural communication?
Pardon?
Barriers. What are some of the common?
Barrier. I think maybe, for instance, stereotype and language, yes, barrier and value, and sometimes beliefs. You have different perception, yes, and yes, yes, all this can be barriers. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
What insights does your book offer the readers?
You mean
What does your book offer readers?
for readers?
Mhm.
You mean which book? Okay.
The book, this one,
Okay.
or even your William Faulkner book.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, this one,
Yeah.
the Chinese one.
Yeah.
Uh,
This one is in Chinese, right?
Yeah, but it has entered some yeah. Yeah.
Maybe you can read it.
Uh,
Is that your
Okay.
poetry book?
No.
this is
Chinese. This is the William Faulkner book.
they have some English introduction here, summary here, right? Abstract.
Okay,
Yeah.
Does have English.
okay.
Yeah, and this book has entered some university library in U.S.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, yes. I'd like to say something about the rare book. On Monday, I think it's very impressive experience here, and Dr. Hamlin has went to that room, and Koichi and about Professor Hamlin's former student, who is also a Faulkner expert,
Mhm.
and some Chinese, another Chinese visiting scholar. So we just have a very close look at the rare books this center has collected. That is Brodsky collection, and here the Brodsky Faulkner collection.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it is really a treasure. And so in this collection, in this rare book room, they have thousands of books that has been collected by Brodsky.
Mhm.
Okay.
And
So
Hamlin.
he was also a poet and also a businessman, and he has collected thousands of Faulkner's books. And for instance, for Faulkner's Marble Foam, the first book, that is his poem collection.
Mhm.
There are 5 copies there, signed by William Faulkner. Very precious.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, and today I just Google and try to look for some information of Marble Foam.
Uh-huh.
I noticed the first edition signed by William Faulkner. Someone is selling this book, the first edition. The price is $100,000
Oh
US
my
dollars.
gosh.
At that time, this poem collection, the publisher is 4C Company,
Uh-huh.
produced 500 copies, and with the help of Faulkner's friend Phil Stone,
Mm-hmm.
but only a few copies has been sold.
Right.
Yeah, and last number has been collected by Phil Stone, and his house caught a fire. So, and this many of books has lost.
Oh.
But I check from Google now there are still 100 copy of the first edition
Wow.
left. I'm thinking of maybe I'd like to buy one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the edition signed by Faulkner is most valuable, right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'd like to say something about Marble Foam.
Oh,
and
yes.
also,
Please do.
yeah. And so in my spring time, when I work in Kent Library, yes, I spend a lot of time reading Faulkner's poems.
Right.
And his first poem collection,
Mhm.
that is Marble Foam.
Marble Fawn.
Yeah, Marble Foam. Foam we know is a kind of creature in Greek and Roman mythology.
Mhm.
Yes, half man, half goat, half
Mhm.
goat. And Faulkner's marble phone, it is kind of signature.
Yes.
Of this phone. And in this poem collection, he just depicted such a kind of figure who, at winter time, early springtime actually, this marble phone just stand in a park, and when the early spring comes, and so the poet William Faulkner imagined this phone start a journey to the valley,
Yeah.
and so he just made a very detailed depiction of the scene in the spring. But however, later this phone found it is only a daydream, and
Right.
so he was trapped in this sculpture. And so this is mainly the poem.
Your poem.
Not my poem, the Faulkner's marble phone.
Oh, this
About. Okay, so I just make some response to this poem.
Oh, okay.
I'd like to read this poem. Is
yes.
that okay?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
The title is The Reflection of Reading Faulkner's Marble Phone in Kent Library in Early Spring. On one early springtime in late March, I approach you. The beautiful cherry blossoms bloom silently before you. Homer, Carlyle, Shakespeare, Thoreau, Milton, Whitman, Mark Twain, Emerson, Virgil, the glittering names of literary giants are shining on your top, beyond time and space, coexisting with beauty. Inside of you, there are numerous valuable books. They nurture the brains of learners. Every spring afternoon, I sit by the window reading Faulkner's poetry, where distant pink flowers glitter in the dusk. My ears echo the mixed tone of the cheer and sorrow played by Pan. God of spring, you free spirit, chasing the dancing nymphs by the lake, blowing the flute from Faulkner's verses. In the pen of gestation, singing the glories of new birth, celebrating the awakening of nature. While the woeful marble phone, immersed in a illusion, launching a magic spring journey with Pan, only finding himself trapped in the forever bondage of artistic creation, like the self-claimed field poet and his lost protagonist in the web woved by life and art, dreaming endless daydreams.
Wow. That's very good.
Thank you. I think Faulkner's poems has been ignored to some
Yeah,
extent.
I was not.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I was not a. I was.
Yeah,
I guess I knew that he wrote poems, but I
Yeah.
had forgotten that he'd written poems.
yeah,
Bands.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that is reason I want to,
Now this is your response to his Marble Fawn
Yeah,
poem.
yeah, and in Marble Fawn, he also mentioned a lot Pan. We all know Pan is
Mhm.
also in Greek mythology.
Bands.
Yes.
Yeah, Pan, and below his pipe, and but very sorrowful because he was very lonely, right? Just
Mhm.
wandering in the forest.
Mhm.
But very free spirit. Yes, I think he's
I think that's beautiful.
very beautiful.
And
Yeah,
it's got the sense of nature that William Faulkner also included in a lot of his writings. That has that sense of a flow of being in the outdoors with the. He always had in all of his long
Passages.
passages. He would write a lot about the the
Yeah.
forest and the flowers and
yeah,
the trees.
Yeah,
And,
yeah, yeah.
You know, he had a lot of the nature
yeah.
in there.
Yeah, by the way, his poem has good connection with his latest novel.
Mhm.
And I think marble, phone, or pen serves as archetype characters for
Mhm.
his latest protagonists, such as Quentin in Sound and Fury. Just
Yeah.
now you mentioned Light in August. Do you know the priest High Tower?
Hightower, yes.
Hightower is kind of phone, marble
Yeah.
phone character,
Yeah.
and he tried to escape himself from the reality.
Yeah.
And
Hightower definitely tries to escape from reality.
yeah, like this phone, marble phone.
Yeah.
So Faulkner has depicted a large number of characters with
Not wanting to be part of reality.
so his early poetry and has created this kind of archetype figure.
Mhm.
And later on in his novel, he borrowed a lot from these archetype figures. So I think it's worthwhile to study his his poems. Although he called himself a field poet, this I mentioned a field poet.
Yeah.
Because he spent 80 years in writing poems before he started writing short story and novels.
Right.
But he was not successful.
No, he
yeah.
wasn't. No, he was more successful with his books.
Yeah. And he learned a lot from the French, also the European
Mhm.
symbolism.
Yes.
Yeah, symbolism, and he learned a lot modernism, also modernism from European writers. And okay, again, the last one I'd like to mention why so many Chinese writers enjoy his writing, because his experiment in writing stream of consciousness.
Stream of
Yeah.
consciousness.
Yes, also a multiple narration.
Mhm.
And this really attract Chinese writers. They have learned a lot from him. And at that time, Chinese writers focus more on realism. They want to make breakthrough. This is the reason why they want to learn from Faulkner. Even Faulkner novel is very hard, difficult to understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
mm.
Dr. Minyu
Uh,
Lee, we are coming to an end of our
Okay.
show, and it's been delightful chatting with you. Thank you so much for being on our show.
Thank you.
I do want to make sure everybody knows that they can advertise on Author's Edge and connect with passionate readers and writers. So call us at 573-714-1352 if you'd like to be on our show or advertise on our show. Thank you for tuning in to Author's Edge. Tune in again next week for more tips, resources, and your favorite conversations. Our next guest will be Ralph Freer, and he will be chatting about his newest book, Sprout. You don't have to be perfect to have a perfect Christmas. Till then, see you around the inkwell. Thank you so much, Dr. Minyu Lee.
It's my pleasure.
And we'll be seeing you all next time around.